Three. Oh, three, two, one. All right, guys, welcome back. Season 2, Episode 2. We've got one of the funniest stand-up comics in New York City. Long Island's favorite son. Sorry, Billy Joel. My former coworker had a job that was shut down by the federal government. More on that later. And the guy who gave me a shot in stand-up. It's my good friend. Made the trip from Brooklyn to Astoria. Rene Fuentes. Thanks, buddy.
What's up, Mitch? It's good to see you, dude.
Great to see you.
Likewise,
Great to see you, man.
I like the therapy setup I have here.
Yeah. No, I like this change up. You guys will notice we got a different angle going. We bring the artist over and he's got it figured out. We got that new angle. It looks good. I like this. Maybe this is the new thing. Therapy with Mitch, maybe?
Therapy with Mitch? Yeah.
No.
I mean, you have the qualifications of like a better help therapist, so.
Exactly. So no qualifications.
Yeah.
I'll just tell you what I've done in the past and how I fucked up.
Yeah, they give you the same test as like the "Are you a robot?" shit. You have to pick this like the bicycle in the images.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. You know, I'm excited to have you on. I know we've been talking about this for a while.
I'm excited to finally make it here, man. You've always been a day one supporter. So ever since I met you, you've always been with the shits, like coming to shows and all that. So hell yeah, man, I appreciate you.
No, you know what? And it goes both ways though, because like this is something I was gonna bring up that like you're such a supportive guy in comedy, and I think that speaks so much to you because comedy is very much so, at least what I've gathered, an insular kind of solo thing, and it can be a little lonely doing it that way. But the amount of people that I meet that Rene, he helped me with this, he helped me with that, like. You do these shows, you're just so welcoming and like I had never been on stage and you were just like, let's do it. And you were the one who really was just like, I was like, all right, I'm going to stop being such a pussy. And like just needed that little bit of push, but that's what people need sometimes is support. And dude, I couldn't say enough good things about you, honestly. My boys in Pennsylvania, they all know about you now. I mean, it's just, I couldn't say enough good stuff about you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I very early on, I learned the importance of like community, especially when you do a thing like stand-up. One of the best advice I ever got about stand-up was that stand-up comedy is like an ecosystem, right? Yeah. So, the more that you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. It's kind of like the laws of karma in a sense.
That makes sense. No, it absolutely makes sense. Because I feel my most out of it when I'm not doing it. And that, on the flip side, that cycle kind of gets easy to get into also, that you're not putting anything into it, so you're not getting anything out of it. Yeah. But I felt at my best, getting up there, just doing 5 minutes, just chopping it up with people, just, like you said, it's a great community. It really is. And I think, the world in general needs more people like that, more acceptance, more, just giving people opportunities, because that just goes so far. It goes so far.
No, I've been fortunate where like I feel like stand-up has brought a lot of the best people I know in my life around me.
Yeah.
So I can't complain.
Yeah.
But I it's a selfish thing too because I'm throwing the shows for my own benefit as well. It's just a thing that like also benefits other people, and then like I care about the people around me in stand-up, like a lot of really good homies in stand-up. So if I could do something and it could pay the homies and it could pay all of us, like I'm a big believer in like high tides raises all ships.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, I'm with that. I mean, it's like me and my roommate Drew, we call it like the Adam Sandler model.
Yeah.
Lift each other up, like to throw David Spade in movies. And that's on obviously a bigger scale, but it works on that smaller macro scale in just even the New York comedy scene. You put people on, they put you on. I mean, you help me, I help you. That's how it should be, honestly. And whether or not it's selfish, it doesn't matter if you're putting on the shows. You're putting on shows. Like, that's so cool.
Your comedy is like so massive and big that like there's like a bunch. There's so many like killers that you don't even know of because there's so many comics, Right. So like I always tell younger comics or comics just getting into it, like create your own stage time. So that's just what I do. I just made my own stage, and I just created like this little slice of the New York comedy scene around me, But there's so much like clicks in comedy, not in like a negative connotation of the word clicks, but there's just so many pockets of comedy that like it's impossible to like know everything that's going on in everyone.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
No, that makes absolute sense. I mean, even anymore, especially that like with how say Brooklyn's kind of popping off a little bit with comedy.
Yeah.
That like I'm sure there's a Brooklyn comedy scene just like there's a Manhattan comedy scene, and Queens even has a couple places. So like
Yeah, they all interject, but yeah, there's definitely like the pockets. 100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're going to see the same faces at similar shows. Like a lot of your shows, they happen to be really funny comics, and I love seeing them. But it's a lot of the same faces.
Yeah.
Which is good. Which is what people. I mean, I don't know. You're putting on good people too. It's not like you're just letting. It's not like anyone. You're not just giving anyone a shot.
I mean,
even though you're giving everyone a shot, but
it's like a bar show, so it's not like high stake. I mean, if I was running like Netflix is a joke, I definitely wouldn't be more selective. But it's
sure.
It's like bar shows. So the way I look at it is, I always give someone a chance. Like if you're good or if you suck, like I want to find out. So like let's see which one it is. And yeah, I guess I've always like it served me well, just kind of like being that accepting initially, and then but like I said, like if I hate not to be mean, but if you suck, then maybe I won't ask you again.
Sure.
But yeah.
That's how it goes, though, and that's how it should be. Like, it's not mean to be honest, you know? That's what, like, people need honesty. And I've asked you before for your honest opinion, and I just take your honest opinion. I mean, it meant the world to me that you were very supportive of, especially after my first time, like, your face. I'll never forget your face. And I was like, hell yeah, I did it. Like, you were just like, that was fucking great, bro. Like, and I needed to hear that a little bit, that, I'm a confident guy, but, like, it's one thing to be funny. It's another thing to go up and be funny.
Yeah.
So to kind of have that little bit of confidence meant the world to me. But like you said, of course, if you don't got it, you don't got it.
It's kind of it's not that you don't got it. It's just like you might not have had it that night. Sometimes like yeah. But no, I mean, like I said, they're like bar shows. So it's like what's the point of like gatekeeping a bar show? Like I said,
that's fair.
You track what. More bees with like what's the expression? You track more bees with like honey
over vinegar.
Yeah. So it's like, I think the fact that like it's a kind of like an open thing, like it's like brought like really good people around me.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
And don't get me wrong, I hate people too. There's definitely, but like I've been lucky enough where like I have a good crew of people around me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because I'm like, I refer to myself as an introverted extrovert. Because, like, being with people can take a lot out of me.
Yeah.
Like, what does that do to you? Like, does it take a lot of... Because you're doing shows almost every night. Like, you're always doing something.
I think, like, it gets my my social bug out, like, drained. So it's like... And it's, like, work, too.
Yeah.
So, like, when I don't have shows and then when I don't have, like, work or anything, like, I have, like, me time.
Yeah.
I like being inside. Because
sure.
I'm just, like, I'm outside enough.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that. It feels like a waste, but it's not a waste. You have to charge like that. Sometimes you just have to do nothing.
Yeah, big fan of doing nothing.
I'm a huge fan of doing nothing.
Yeah.
And it's because you'll burn yourself out, especially, I mean, we're in similar fields, and we'll get into this in a second, but we're on the phone with people all day.
Yeah, and that's draining too.
And that's draining. It is. I mean, and there's some tough conversations. We're talking to people in debt and everything. Everyone's got a story. It can be a little draining. I mean, just talking to someone, but then the emotional aspect of it. So it's like you go from that.
I feel like I got bad. I feel nothing when I talk to these people anymore.
Honestly, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really the way to be. I try to find a happy medium of being empathetic, but also not taking it with me.
Should we tell them what we do? Because I don't think they know. Yeah.
So I'll let you take it.
Oh, we used to work together at I'll name this. I don't want to name the place I work at now, but I'll name the spot.
That's funny you say that. We're not naming our current employers, but we will. These are court records for the former place, so we can name them.
Yeah. So we used to work at a spot called Strategic Consulting, right? And I was there for like 15 months. How long were you there for?
12.
12, like a year or so, yeah. And it was like a debt settlement company, so we'd help people out of credit card debt. And it was like a pretty like poppin' company. Like I think they've been around for like
08?
Yeah.
08 or 09?
Yeah. And then they got sued by the federal government and like shut down.
Yeah.
Randomly on like a Friday.
Yeah. I guess we'll just actually just get right into that because so a little bit of background also. So debt settlement, for those who don't know, essentially a way for, I guess, the high level overview. You'd call our the best customer or the customer who needs it, someone who's fully utilized on their credit cards, low credit score, they can't afford their monthly payments.
Yeah.
So We come in, we negotiate, get reduced rates, and usually cut your payment in half.
Yeah, it's a debt settlement. Yeah,
Yeah.
just get rid of your credit card.
Just like what it sounds like, exactly.
Yeah.
You settle your debts, get rid of your credit cards. And unfortunately, just like any industry, there can be, there's a gray area that you kind of are in any kind of sales to begin with. But we're at good companies now. Because there's the one thing that I think is important to know that a lot of people don't know, that with debt settlement, that there's the two sides of it. There's the contingency model, which both of our companies do, which is contingent on having your debt settled and everything for you to get paid. And then there's the legal model, which is what Strategic was doing.
Yeah.
Which, on paper, it looked good, it sounded good. We used it as a
it was just like a deceptive thing because it was just like a loophole in like front loaded fees. So they got like hit with that over the years. You know, they got warnings, they just ignored it. I think they kind of just thought they were like bigger than too big to fail type of thing.
I agree.
And they just but it was a good job while we had it.
Yeah.
But it was definitely it was crazy when it ended. Like it was.
What was that like? I haven't really talked to you about. We've talked about it, but like, what was on like the human level? What was that like in those couple days?
Oh, like
what was the communication like?
Like once, like the initial when they were like, "We'll be back," because everything just turned off on a Friday, and then they were just like, "We'll be back on Tuesday," which is weird. Because it wasn't even like on Monday. It wasn't like we'll be back Monday, like no Tuesday. And we were like, okay. And then they just kind of kept like being like, yo, give us a week, we'll pay you for the days off. And then like after like the first month, they were just like, yeah, we're probably not going to be able to pay you for these days off, and like no more, go find new jobs. So they kind of like strung us along for a little bit with like false hope that we'll be hired again and like we'll get paid for this time off. And then when we realized, oh, that's not happening, then we're just like, oh, we got to find a job because we have bills to pay. So it kind of like fucked us. Yeah. In that aspect there. But there were like also people who were in that position that from the jump they just like left immediately and found new jobs.
Yeah.
Probably should have done that, but like
there's some people at my current place that were, I mean, I've realized that this industry is very there's a lot of the same faces and stuff. I won't name anyone, but people that you know and stuff that were former Strategic people are here. Same deal. When
that whole thing shut down, like 800 people lost their jobs.
Yeah.
And they just dispersed into like other companies doing the same thing in the field.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think that was like, I don't know. It's cool to like look back and be like, yeah, we were working for this company that they were the bad boys of that settlement. Like,
yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. Every job sucks,
Right.
So just.
And that's what like my thing, after all this happened, then I'm sure you did the same. You start to look back and you wonder, it's like, what didn't I know? But like, they kept us in the dark for a reason, and I think that you used that they kind of used, and I'm not even saying our direct boss, but like the higher ups, they used that human nature of like you said, people know like all jobs suck, so it's like you kind of ignore the red flags along the way. But the conclusion I came to is on the sales side, we did nothing wrong. We were told what we were told. We were told about now I get why they didn't want clients really fully reading the agreements and stuff like that. Why they wanted to kind of push it.
Any agreement, because anything you sign, like you read any contract you sign, like when it's terms and agreement, there's probably some fuck shit in everything.
You're right, and you know what? And I also do agree that on one hand, it's like
the way I look at like that settlement is that like you're already getting fucked you're gonna get fucked one way or the other,
Yeah.
Like it's like there's no fun way to get rid of all your debt. You could do your minimum payments and that sucks. Or you can just get rid of all your credit cards, have a bad credit score for like a year or two.
Yeah, right.
And then like be done with it.
Right.
So like that's like the lesser of all evils.
Yeah.
You got to be in like a certain position where you're like, all right, this is worth it. So we're super by the book at at the spot I'm at now.
Yeah.
So like they don't fuck around. They're like super compliant.
Yeah.
And like it's more refreshing to sell it that way. Where it's just like, yo, it is what it is.
100%. And we're similar at my place. And that was really, I wasn't sure I wanted to get back into it. And after interviewing with them, talking to them and everything, and it was really kind of pitched to me, not specifically this way, but the way I took it was they were like the anti-strategic, that they were like, and that's how I like to be. I think that that's the way to do sales. Yeah, of course I can, and you're the same way. We can, hit your objection with an answer. I can answer your objections and stuff, but I don't need to lie to you. So it's like you shouldn't have to work in that gray area. I think it's one of those things that it's like, I put it all on the line for you. Here's what it is. Here's why I think it's good for you, and now you decide, and it's up for you.
Yeah.
Which is how it should be. I mean, it's like you should have all the information. You know what it is. Like you said, your credit's going to take a hit. You're going to not have these cards and everything. But if you know everything and you decided that that's good for you, then good. But then there's like that front-loaded fee shit. It's just like, that's what killed me, because that really did put people in a worse place than they were.
Yeah.
I've had clients call in even, and I have to hold it back of like, I'm not going to tell them I worked there.
I think like I had at a new spot, I had a client call in, and they were like an old client of Strategic. And then they were just like, yeah, I was working with this other place, but then they got fucking sued. And I was just like, oh, what was it called? And they were like, I don't know, like Level 1. Which is like one of the fake law firms that they worked with.
That's so fucking funny.
They were just like, you ever heard of this? I was like, no, never heard of it. And then, yeah, I think I was like, what happened? Like, what's happening now with your situation with that? Because like I never heard it from like a client's perspective.
Yeah.
And then they were just like, oh, like, pretty much nothing got done with the debt. I had to reach out to them, let them know what was happening, and then like find other solutions to like handle that. And then she just said that like she tries calling every couple months, and I think they're still in the lawsuit. Like I think it's still going on.
That's insane.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it in like a few years. I let it go. I'm just like,
I let it go too.
Yeah.
I was all on it when it first happened. I even have notes in here still from like the Reddit thread that was going on, that Buffalo thread, which was some good information. And it was good for, you guys that were kind of in the dark at the time, that like it was a way to share information. Mm-hmm. I gave up on him too. Because like, you know what? If we bring up his name eventually, that's fine. I'm not going to throw his name out there. Former CEO of Strategic, you're welcome to come on anytime. Explain your case. I mean, I tend to, I think that I've read, the 90-some court documents, and being someone who kind of worked there and everything, you looked at it, you're like, yeah, they did that shit.
Wait, you said you read all the court documents for it? That's great. I didn't read any of that. I mean, I got like the spark notes of everything. I feel like I got the gist of what was happening without having to look into all of that. But I'm sure. I don't know. Do you think there will be like a class action lawsuit as like employees with them?
There could be. So the thing that I saw is there could potentially be because of the ESOP, the employee stock option. Again, now that looks like that was another fraud thing. So like I won't speak too much on it because I didn't dive super deep into it, but it looks like that could be a potential lawsuit.
What were they doing with the ESOP?
So let me see if I did write anything. Because it's basically a way to take liability off of your company and to essentially put it onto your employees. So essentially that it's like, it's employee owned. It's not owned. It was another level of separation is what I gathered from it between CEO and company. It was a way to keep himself, I think, away from it. But it goes so deep. There's so many layers to all of this too, because like something we didn't know either. So the CEO's stepdad has been barred from debt settlement since 2000. This guy was former friends and coworkers with Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street, another Long Island boy. He's been barred from debt settlement since 2000. Guess who was a big investor at Strategic? His stepdad.
That's crazy.
So it's like those level of separations. Like you don't know this stuff when you're in it, but it's like, oh, so maybe he was really running the show. He was legally barred from the industry.
He knew the loopholes to...
it was loopholes.
Yeah, I mean, loopholes are there for a reason.
Sure.
I feel like I can't be mad at anyone that exploits a good loophole.
No.
Off rip. But like, if it's at the expense of like other people and you're like fucking over like all your clients and all that stuff, like, you suck. But
yes.
In theory, I don't mind a good loophole exploitation.
No, I'm the same way. Do I think that there should be tax loopholes? No. But there are tax loopholes, and I don't hold it against rich people for using those tax loopholes. But that's different than I'd say what they were doing. That they were using these loopholes to convince people of something that really just wasn't true. The big thing that was found, like that I saw, and it seems like the big thing the attorney generals, by the way, it was 7 attorney generals and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which ironically is who Elon is trying to shut down right now too, because they've investigated him also. But that's who placed this lawsuit, and what they seem to think one of the biggest problems was, other than they figured out that the notary appointments didn't satisfy what needed to be done to be able to take the upfront fees. But they also, where is it? So it was the notary. Oh, so it was the law firm protection.
I don't think those that might know, just to explain the notary process.
Yes.
So, and I think it was like in 2010, they like passed laws about banning like front load fees for debt settlement companies.
Right.
And then it was a way to exploit that loophole by using notaries, and then it being like a law firm, because then the front loaded fees that they were taking were like law firm fees.
Exactly.
But what Strategic was doing, that they were just making a bunch of bullshit law firms that they ran.
Exactly.
And they were just like taking those fees, front loading it, and then like, I think they eventually maybe did do some of the work of like paying off the debt, but like that they were like padding their pockets like before that even happened.
Absolutely.
Which was like the illegal part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was, for someone who, say you had a 48-month term, someone who did the 48 months, they might have been happy with what happened, because as far as they know, the job was done. But someone who was in a 48-month term and wanted to stop after 12, they weren't going to be happy because none of their money is there. That's really where it came, and that it was like, because the notary was a representative of the law firm, but like you said, I mean, how many times did we get new names? Green Sky or
I didn't remember it. I didn't even remember any of them.
No.
But yeah, they were just like we'll walk in to work one day and they were just like, we got a new law firm. Never speak of the other one ever again.
Yeah, exactly. It was just when they started getting bad reviews and stuff, then it was like, okay, we're done with that one. Now go to this one. Well, where is his name? Oh. Well, I will just say his name. Because I didn't know this guy in our time, Jason Blust. So, exactly. He was like, so it's basically CEO and then him, or we're kind of the same in tandem. Yeah. He was the lawyer.
What was the dude? Oh my God, there was a guy. I don't remember his. I remember his first name, but his last name was Blumkit.
Danny.
I hope he is innocent. Like no shade towards him, but that's a hilarious name.
So funny.
It was you know that they were doing something wrong when like the higher up, his last name is Blumkit.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny with him? The first thing that like the red flag I had with him was it felt like his title. I don't know if you remember. It was Chief Sales Officer, which I think is made up. That's just like to me, that's a made-up position, because we had a VP of sales who was a good guy by all intents and purposes, seemed to be, other Dan. But they were all so shady, because it was this Blust guy was what he was doing, from what I gathered, again, Google all of this, it's all court documents and everything. He was the one setting up these law firms. He was then contracting what seemed to be like young lawyers in those states, say North Carolina, run by North Carolina, and it was really just pencil whipping. They were just putting your name on something, and they weren't really doing anything as far as like legal defense goes. That was the other thing that got them in so much trouble, was that they really realized that, and unfortunately for the people who signed, it was in you had a...
One time, I, like, someone I signed up, they were just like, they messaged me, like, at Strat. So when I signed up, they, like, messaged me, like, a couple months later, like, I'm trying to get in contact with the law firm, blah, blah, blah. So I did a little digging, looked up the law firm, found, like, the attorney that's, like, or not, the attorney that's, like, I guess, tied to that law firm.
Yeah.
Found their information, and I was just like, just email this person. And then like that person like emailed like the lawyer like emailed me like a day later, was just like, yo, never give my information to anyone ever again. Like they got so tight at me. Like I could just tell like at their email they were like in person they would be yelling at me, but it was
Yeah,
an email
sure.
format.
But that goes to kind of show you again. And you know what's funny? Correct me if I'm wrong, because I swear this was you. And this was like another red flag that went up to me. You got an email or a call from a client of yours that was enrolled asking why we were calling them to see if they wanted a loan. Was this you?
I
It was
don't think
someone on our team.
I don't think that's I think that's like a legitimate part of like I think that's
It is.
legitimate.
No, it is. Because, and I was going to say, so the company I'm with now also does that in the form of a graduation loan.
Yeah.
The red flag came for me, though, because they didn't tell us about this. We didn't really have information about this thing.
Yeah,
And
I
B,
think it's a thing, but it's like not like I think that's like if that's like how you're selling it, that's like
yeah,
when it's shady because not everyone
absolutely.
qualifies for that. So I think that's like a rare thing in like that's I think it's a legitimate thing. 'Cause
It,
I've
oh,
seen
it's
it.
definitely legit.
Yeah,
It's just what I didn't like, and maybe I was just looking too much into it. I didn't like it on the sales side that like we're taught to we sell against a loan. You know, how many times have you said or something similar, rob Peter to pay Paul? We're taught that, and then we're coming to them, you know, however long later, like, oh, here's a loan. I don't know. Like you
I mean, that's
said.
just
It's,
like another way to make money because they'll get the loan at like a 50, and then they'll
oh,
charge the
absolutely,
person like a 30% type shit.
absolutely, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. They had it figured out. I'll give them that. I will give them that. They had it figured out
They knew how to
from.
make money.
They absolutely, absolutely, and you know what? A lot of salespeople did make money there. I mean, there was some absolute animals that were putting
It's
up
a
good.
good field to get into. Like if you find a legitimate
Yeah,
company that does it by the book, like top reps of my company, they make like 30, 40K a month type shit.
that's insane.
Yeah,
That
so
is
it's,
insane.
yeah, so it's like it's a great field to be in. I always describe it as it's like being on like the right side of like the economy collapsing, because
Yes.
like everyone has debt, everyone's
Yeah.
gonna always have debt, and they always want to get rid of the debt. So we're selling this an option that just helps them just like say fuck your debt. And
Absolutely.
then so many people, like if you can get the client to be like, you're right, fuck this shit. Like fuck my credit score, like fuck all this. Like it's not hard to do that either.
No.
You know, it's like I think people who don't want to do it, like I don't think it's for everyone.
Sure.
Like I think that there's some situation where you don't need to do it. It's a little drastic. You can handle it. You can get through it. Whatever.
Yeah.
But there's some people that are like super fucked.
Absolutely.
And they're just like have a 500 credit score already, and then they're just like, but my credit. I think those people are like complete pussies. Like I think there's some people that are just like such
lost.
pussies about it. Yeah.
Yes.
Such pussies about it.
They're
But
lost.
like I said, I don't think it's for everyone.
No.
And I'm at the point with it now where like I've been selling it for so long that like I don't even want to like convince people that like don't need it to do it. I'm just like, you don't need this shit. Like, and then I'll just go on to the next person.
I'm the same way. I
Yeah.
try to be the same way.
Yeah, because there's so many people that do need it and they want to do it, especially
Yeah.
when you have like work with a legitimate company and like you're like, you know, they get it.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And that kind of goes back to like what I was saying, that like you put it all out on the line for them and let them decide. You know, I had a woman who kind of recently and put her up, and she's been happy in the program and stuff, but she was going back and forth for like 2 weeks, just like, I don't know if this is the right thing to do, this and that. And she asked me, and she was like, would you have your mom do this?
Yeah, I've had old ladies ask me that too.
And I was, you know, I tried, and of course I'm just a salesperson on the other line, but like I'm an honest person. And I was like, honestly, in your exact situation, if my mom couldn't afford her bills, she's this stretched thin, her credit's tanked, I would suggest it to her. Absolutely. And I even told her, I was like, I wouldn't be chasing you down for 2 weeks if I thought that, like, if I like you said, I often will pump the brakes on someone. If, you know, like they're not in that much debt, they have a 790 credit score, you could figure other things out. But for the person who needs it, and a lot of people don't realize that it's there for them, which is actually another thing, that like it can be good for people, that it's like, it's ironic and funny. We're talking about, you know, we work for the quote unquote bad guys, but we were doing, you know, we felt like we were the good guys, and I still think we were the good guys. We were just in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And now we're in better places, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
We both deserve it.
But I'm not gonna lie, there's nothing more fun than like peak strategic. Like
I agree.
Yeah, like the holiday parties, like they were just blowing money on having fun.
Absolutely.
And they were like the parties were fire. Also, like I got like 8 of my friends hired there.
Yes.
Like they were like other comics, musicians. So it was just like we were just mob deep, like a bunch of creatives. That,
We
like,
had a
I've
great
been
team.
Yeah, like I got like a bunch, like 8, not 8, 10 of my friends hired there.
Yeah.
And that was awesome because like it gave like fucking artists I knew like a good job. It was a good job.
Yeah.
Like it was like paid well. It was
It
fine.
was absolutely was a good job.
And again, like nothing beats like going on break with like 5 of your friends and just getting ripped.
True.
And then like or going to happy hour, getting drunk.
Yeah.
Shout out like the original like lunch crew, like
Yeah.
Encam, Casey, Brianna, fucking Chocolate, like
Yeah.
just going out, going to fucking what was it, the oh man, Perfect Pint.
Yeah. It was
Perfect
right there.
Pint, yeah, across the street.
Yeah.
Getting hammered on break. Oh man, I remember like Encam used to get so hammered on break that like our old manager was just like, hey, like maybe like 1 or 2 less shots. Like I'm not telling you not to drink, but like maybe like 1 or 2 less shots.
And Cam.
Yeah.
That's a bad girl right there. That's funny.
She's
I
the
didn't.
best.
I never knew that.
Oh,
That's so
that was
funny.
like early. That was like earlier days when she was when she worked there. Yeah, no, that was honestly like I met like such great friends there.
Absolutely.
And like it bonded like other friendships that I had when I got those people there.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. No, I felt the same way. I mean, it was. I keep work and social life separate typically, but I still. I mean, I still talk to Devin. I still see Chocolate. You know, like it's people who I consider
Chocolate's
friends
performing
now.
at that show later tonight too.
We're there.
Yeah,
We're
no,
there.
it's gonna be a good hang. This is gonna come out after this
Yeah.
is relevant, but I'm opening up for my guy O'Henny Cornelius tonight, Long Island City.
Is that who it is?
O'Henny, yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
O'Henny's the man. O'Henny's been in like mad movies. He makes music. He's like one of like the OGs of comedy for me. Even though he's not that old, but he's like old enough to be
Sure.
OG level.
Yeah.
He's Unk status.
Right.
But O'Henny's like one of the first people that like taught me the power of community because he had a shit going on. He still does things, still runs shows, but like not as much anymore.
Okay.
But like back in the day when you had like Smokes and Jokes, that's when I first started. I met like I met Chocolate through O'Henny. And like O'Henny, like I said, O'Henny was the first person that like taught me that like running these shows, bringing people together, like that connection, that community is like so important.
Yeah.
Because like those are the people you're in the trenches with.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
the artist trenches with. And like
100%.
you all grow, you all fucking get better together. You know, all do cool shit together separately, and then you guys reconnect, and you guys are just strong. You know.
Absolutely.
So I'm honored to be opening up for his special taping later.
No, that's phenomenal. Yes. Who is this like a self-produced special?
Yeah.
That's what's up. What's he doing? Like YouTube?
Yeah, I'm sure. I think he's gonna like chop it around, but he's probably gonna like. I'm sure at some point he'll be released on YouTube.
That's what's up.
But yeah, I don't know exactly what he's doing, but I never count him out because he's done some really cool shit.
No, absolutely. And I only asked with the YouTube because like I like that comics are kind of doing their own thing now. You know, Ari Shaffir with Jew, that releasing that on YouTube I think was a great idea because then eventually Netflix picked it up.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think that's awesome. People just kind of making it happen their own way. I mean, I feel like it's a very millennial thing. We were kind of handed some shit. So like now we're just kind of trying to make it how we can and doing it how we can, which I think is great.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that's like you can make your own opportunities. That's why I guess I've always been like very keen on making my own shows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very big on like building your own table instead of waiting for an invite to a table.
Yeah.
So it's like there's so many opportunities to get popping nowadays. You know, you never know. You know, I'm not a big content guy. Like I don't like putting like clips out.
Yeah.
It's like social media is like my least favorite part about doing stand up.
I feel that.
Like I just want to be like I just want to go on stage, be funny, and get better at that aspect of
Yeah,
comedy.
yeah.
But like it's impossible to like separate the two nowadays.
It is.
Yeah, you have to have like some online presence. You got to do something.
You do.
Yeah, so I think like I don't think I'm I would be like an influencer, like social media poster type of person. But I think like the next big thing for me, like I'm 29, I'll be 30. I think the thing in my 30s, the thing in my 20s was like running shows and events and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing in my 30s, which I want to like switch over to, is like making like some type of like media, like making a show. Like I think like writing a show out I know all the talented people that can ring together to like make something happen.
Absolutely.
As far as like writing a script, actors, like makeup, camera people, like I know I got all that in like my arsenal.
Hell
So
yeah.
I think like the next chapter, I'm always gonna run shows. I
Yeah.
think Stavros said something about this. I think he was just like even if like this goes away, the fame goes away, like I think I'll always be like that old comic running a bar show somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can see that for me.
Yeah.
Ideally, hopefully, I wish better, but I think I'll always be content like running
You'd
comedy
still
shows.
be happy doing that.
Yeah, because I love
Yeah.
running shows, man. It's like fucking doing stand up is awesome. It's like the only consistent thing I've ever kept going in my life. I feel like I've always like I stuck with,
Yeah.
and like it's brought like the best things around me, and like I think that like means that like the domino effect of my life since doing stand up has been crazy. Like it's just like if I never made the decision to do stand up, like the best things that are about my life right now would have never happened. So
That's phenomenal.
I think like even if it doesn't like I don't ever want to be like a famous person. Like I don't think like that sounds like miserable. That sounds like whack.
I agree.
I just want to be like good at comedy. I just want
Sure.
to be a good stand-up comic, and like whatever comes from that, like comes from that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think as long as I'm always able to get like some quality stage time and like get better, I'm like content with that.
You'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. And I'm gonna just check. I have to do this once an episode because one time I didn't. Oh, we're so good. We are so good still. No, I mean absolutely. Dude, I respect that. That's something that I gathered about you early on. Is very much so your do-it-yourself mentality, which I think is phenomenal. That it's just like, and that's kind of inspired me a little bit to like, also just like this podcast. I mean, look, we're in my living room, on a couch with Amazon microphone. Like it's it's very low budget, but it was like, I'm just gonna do it because I'm not gonna. Who's gonna pay me to do a podcast? Nobody, not yet. But it was something I wanted to do, so I went and did it. So I'll tell you, you inspire me, bro. You have a great mentality. You have again, the do-it-yourself thing is just phenomenal. Running shows it's not an easy thing either. And I'm sure you know that more than anyone.
Yeah, it's a thankless job sometimes, but
Yeah.
someone has to do it.
And you're relying on comics who are notoriously the most unreliable people of all time.
Yeah,
But,
that's
so,
like yeah.
which is just another aspect to it. And you put on great shows. I know you sell it short a little bit by saying, they're bar shows, and they are bar shows, and people who know stand-up know the difference between a bar show and, say, another show. But, like, I don't know how many times, for example, you had Mark Normand at the Roost. Like, Mark Normand went and did 20 minutes at the Roost. This was a free show. That's phenomenal. Same thing at, just going to Laughs at Lux. It's a great setup there. It's a bar show, but you're right next to the Comedy Cellar. Like, you're in the heart of...
Yeah, we've had people pop in. And Mark even came to the Lux one time, too.
Has he?
Yeah, he did the first show. I think, like, he was just walking by. And it wasn't because I act. Like, it was just my other co-producer. Like, he is familiar with him. He just tracked him down and was just like, can you do... And he was like, if it's right now, yes. And then he just drew him up, like, immediately. He just did a quick 5 minutes and bounced. But that's like... I think that's more of a test of how cool he is as a dude. Like, he just, like, you don't have to do any of that shit. He just does it because he just wants to get up. He's just a comic at heart. I'm sure as he's like getting bigger and bigger, that's like gonna probably like slow down, like him like popping up to little things like that. But
yeah,
he's always been like super cool to me. Like
he seems it. He seems super chill, super autistic in the best way. He's like Mark's one of my favorites. I've told people before that he's like one of the few comics I can still watch because like. Not that I don't watch comedy still, but like I can't watch Shane Gillis very much because like me and him have similar types of humor. So I don't want to have that like moment where it's like shit, he just said a joke that I've thought of. Or like the reverse where I think of a joke later on but it was really his. Mark, I can't do what Mark does. I just can't. I mean, that's a testament to his work ethic. He was talking about back in the day. He was.
I wonder if Shane Gillis feels the same about you. He's like, I can't watch Mitch do comedy. I'm gonna steal his jokes.
He's like, fuck. I had that same Casey Anthony bit.
Yeah.
Now I can't do it.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think it's cool that they like still show up to those little shows and stuff like 100%. That. Like those they still pop up. There's a couple comics that are like that still that do it. Like the amount of random times I've like just slid in his DMs and be like, "Yo, would you want to do this?" And he'd be like, "Yeah." I'll
That's
come
so
by, and then
cool.
like pulling up, and like yeah, he's always been cool.
Now that
So
started, if I remember right, you said when you were doing those shows during COVID on Long
yes,
Island.
yeah. So I started in Long Island doing comedy, and then I would run shows out there. When COVID happened, I lost like all the things that I had going on because everyone did, and I just decided to throw a show in my parents' backyard. What I loved about COVID was that like any comic, no matter if you were like an open micer, a couple years in, club comic, Dave Chappelle, like every comic, like you had no like there's no spots going on.
Right.
You just wanted to get up, do comedy.
Yeah. Right.
So just took advantage of that and was just messaging some comics. They just messaged them and was just like, "Hey, I got this unemployment money that they're just throwing at me right now." I was getting paid more doing unemployment than like I did at my deli job. I
That's
lost.
funny.
But who knows the economy.
Yeah. Right.
But
Right.
anyway, I utilized the fact that nothing was going on. I messaged them and I was like, "Yeah, I got this show going on. I'll throw you whatever." It was a generous number, and they were just like, "Fuck it." I think they wanted it to do more for the spot than like the money.
Yeah.
And I like it delivered like that. Mark Norman show had like 80 people, and this was like September 2020. So I was just like, 80 people's not a lot, but it's like it's like
It's not no one.
Yeah, it's like in my backyard, my parents' backyard, of my childhood home in Hempstead, Long Island.
Dude, I
And
just went and saw Mark not too long ago at Grizzly Pear Midtown, and it was like 30 people, which was it was a great show. He was phenomenal, but dude, 80 people, that's pretty great.
yeah, and then yeah, shout out my dad. He was super cool about me doing it there.
That's sweet.
But then we did the first show at my parents' house, and then after that, it was a huge success. Everything went. It's a beautiful night. After that, I was like, I don't want to do this at my house anymore. It's too much like effort to like do it
Yeah.
at my home. I had a friend, Nick Tardo, shout out Tardo, who had a house in Hicksville, and then the couple other shows that we did in that run of backyard shows,
Okay.
we did it at his house in Hicksville.
Oh,
and that was
okay.
like way less pressure for me because I didn't live there.
Yeah,
And-
absolutely.
And it was just a bunch of like fucking, it was like a frat house, so they didn't give a shit also.
That's phenomenal too.
So-
That's best case scenario, honestly, is doing it at a place like that. Mm-hmm. It's a shame. I had the most recent place I lived at in Pennsylvania before I moved up here. I've thought of this before. We had a great backyard and everything. It was not quite. It wasn't a frat house. I mean, we were in our early 30s, but it wasn't a parent house. Mm-hmm. So that would have been such a great place to have shows.
Yeah.
That's great. Again, coming back to you just made it happen. You weren't doing shit. Other comics weren't doing shit. You took an opportunity. What's the worst thing that happens if you DM Mark Norman and ask him to do your show? He says no. That's the worst thing. Which I think is a testament, viewers out there. You just go for the shit. Mm-hmm. Try, because what's he going to do, make fun of you? Maybe. But in that case, then it's Mark Norman making fun of you.
Yeah,
that's fun.
You just you take it. But yeah, no, I mean, I haven't asked him in a while, but that was it was cool that he did it. But yeah, he's always been cool. He's always just ran. I don't ask a lot, so I think I've only asked him like 3 times, and he did it 2 out of the 3 times.
That's so big.
And I'm never gonna ask him again because I like those numbers.
Yeah.
I don't want him to say no to me now. So I think I'll just see him. I'll see him at the top. But but in the meantime, I'll run into him on Macdougal.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Mark is. I mean, I wish I could do a little more of this. I think you probably have some of what he has in him. That like, he would say he would do like, when he was doing open mics, he was doing 10 spots a night.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
I don't do that. I'm a big more is less type of person. Like I remember there was this comic. I had a show. There was this comic. Can't remember his name, but he's a man. But he had like 12 spots that night, and he was very strategic about getting to like the spot. He timed everything out. So he pulled up he was like, yeah, I'll be there at like 8:37. He pulled up at 8:37 exactly. And like he like timed everything out, and like he was just like, all right, like I could wait like 5 minutes before I go up. It worked out. He went up, killed it, did like a 10-15 minute spot. Then like he bounced his other spot, and he was like, thanks for helping me make that run smoothly. I have 12 spots tonight, and I was just like, that doesn't even sound fun, like running around. But like that guy, he's at a different level because it is fun for him probably.
Sure.
But like, yeah, I mean, I guess if they're 12 quality spots, I get it. But like, yeah, just like that running around, it's like it's a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot. I know we're in a city where you can get around easily, but at the same time, I mean, it's like not super easy. It can be not super easy. So it's like, and with open mics, I don't know.
There's sometimes with comedy I get like 3 spots, and they're like 3 show spots, like not like open mics.
Yeah, yeah.
And I, you feel awesome doing that. So doing more than 3, I'm just like, wow, that would be, especially if they're all different.
That would take a lot.
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't really do open mics anymore. I hate saying this because it sounds pretentious. I just don't feel like I get anything out of them.
You know, it's fine. I'm way too early in my journey to be feeling this way, but I have felt that way.
There's
myself.
there's great open mics, and you go up and it's cool, like it's fine. But there's so many shitty open mics.
Yeah.
And you have to go through that. I just feel like I'm at a period of my journey at 7 years in where I was like, I did my shitty open mic time.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm good. And it's not like I won't go to open mics, I still do.
Yeah.
But like I'm like that open mic hustle of like I used to from Long Island, I used to go to on Sundays. I would drive to the city. I would do like 4 open mics in a day, like just hitting random ones. And they weren't great open mics. They were just just doing my set, and you need that. And then like it was like 11 o'clock. I did the 4th open mic of the day, and I'm like I could go home, be home by midnight, or I can do the 5th open mic at the Creek in the Cave, 11:30. It was a bucket mic. And I would always do that one, and I would hate myself.
For doing it?
Yeah, because I wouldn't go up to like 2 in the morning, and then I wouldn't I would get there at 11. I wouldn't go up to 2 in the morning. When I do go up, there's like 2 other comics there, and they're just waiting to go up.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't feel good from doing that.
Sure.
So there's nothing that's made me feel worse about doing comedy than going to like a shitty bad open mic.
Well,
if you're new to comedy, you go to those fucking mics. You go do those mics. You have to. You have to feel that you have to feel that.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm at a point where I don't need to do that to myself anymore.
Yeah. As an outsider looking in, I would agree with you that it's not pretentious. You are a little above it. I mean, you're running your own shows.
That's also, and there's also comics that are above me that they've been doing it longer. That my fucking bar shows they're open mics, and there's nothing wrong with that either. You know, it's just what it'd be like that. You know, what I'm
absolutely.
Saying? But
no, absolutely. It's the thing that, and I think that a lot of comics, what I've gathered, maybe the thing that they don't love about open mics, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's not really a tougher crowd than a crowd of comics.
Yeah, because no one gives a shit about your joke. They don't give a shit about. They give a shit about their jokes. And I'm the same way. If I'm like the worst.
Exactly.
I don't want to. Not that I don't want to hear your jokes. Is that if I'm going up, I'm thinking about my jokes.
You're in the zone.
Yeah, you're in the zone. But I guess if you're at an open mic, there are very supportive open mics, and maybe I'm just an asshole. I'm okay with that possibility. But it's. But if you can get if you're at an open mic full of comics, and if you can get a half of a chuckle, like a smirk, then you're that's a great joke.
Yes.
And you don't go to. I've learned this early on. You don't go to open mics to get applause. You don't go to open mics to get laughter from the people there because you know what it is.
Yeah.
You go to open mics because you want to practice saying these words out loud, and you got to look at it that way. You're I don't give a shit about what you guys think. I mean, if you guys laugh, that's cool. Blah blah blah. And sometimes your friends will, it's sometimes just crowds at the open mics, more a little show but that's usually what you go, you do it for you. You don't do it for that. When you go to an open mic.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. Maybe I need to just reframe it in that sense in my mind because it's I felt like I wasn't getting much out of them because, I was getting some laughs from other comics and stuff, but it was I didn't feel like I needed to prove I was funny. But I needed the repetition. I think I need to put myself in that mindset again of just it's the repetition and don't even give a shit what they think. That's what I think you're saying, right?
Yeah.
That it's just because, like you said, it's saying these words out loud.
When you're new, you should do open mics.
Do as many as you can.
Yeah, you got to get those reps in.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, I'm older now. I started comedy when I was 22. I'm 29 now.
Yeah.
Got a job. Got it's. Not that I didn't back then, but I'm no spring chicken that I used to be. I'm tired. I don't want to fucking.
That's the thing too.
Yeah.
That's the thing too, because it's for people who don't know, like what that entails, say like what you were doing at Strategic was, you were living in Brooklyn, working in Manhattan, running a show in Manhattan. So correct me if I'm wrong, but
Let's go
say when
straight
you were
there.
running the Roost on Thursdays, you were just staying in Manhattan.
Yeah, I'll get out of work. I'll go straight to the Roost.
So you were working from 10 to 6, then going to the Roost. You were at the Roost until 10
11.
o'clock at the earliest.
Yeah,
11 o'clock probably.
Yeah.
And then best case scenario, you're home at 11:30. But you
Yeah.
really probably weren't.
No, never that way. Because usually on Thursdays, I would like stay to work probably till 7. Or if like sometimes you have calls, you gotta get the deals up. You get
Sure.
7:30.
Yeah.
And then I'll go to the Roost straight from there. Start the Roost by like 8:15 ish, 8:30, something in that time frame.
Yeah.
And then be done by like 11 usually, because the Roost was like fucking. I miss the Roost. That was like such an iconic time
I
period.
miss the Roost too.
Yeah, I love Lux, but it's just different.
It's different.
It's completely different. The Roost was like this coffee shop in Alphabet City on Avenue B. It was like a coffee shop up front, and then it was a bougie coffee front up front, and it was like this cool little speakeasy bar in the back, and it was just such a vibe in there. Like it was. Yeah, it was a really cool
low
little
lighting,
spot.
candles and stuff.
It was like you're in a cabin almost. Yeah, it was fire.
Yeah.
I remember like when I first started that, my friend Caddy, shout out Caddy, he was like a beer rep, and he used to sell beer there, and I used to run shows with him back when I was doing shows in Long Island. Then he moved to the city, got that beer rep job, and he was talking to all these places, and he was just trying to get me shows at these places. So Roos was just through him doing that. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then I remember I got there, and I thought Caddy was gonna be like more involved in like the running of the show. I didn't need him to be, but like I just thought he would be more around. And then he quit his beer rep job like a week after I started the show, and he had a good excuse. He was like a deaf in the family, but like he quit he quit his beer rep job, and then they were just like, all right, I guess I'm just dealing with them now. And I was dealing with this dude, Brian, and Brian was the fucking man. Like, we got along very well. The show went really great, and then Brian left, and then I had Ian. Ian was fucking the best bartender ever. And then Ian left. Then I got Johnny. Johnny was fucking awesome, too. After Johnny left. And then I'm not even going to hold you, like, as it gone down that list, I was, like, liking the bartenders I was dealing with less and less.
Well, towards the end, and we don't need to drag anyone. I don't even know their name, but like the last bartender was giving you so much shit.
Yeah, she was a bitch.
For no fucking reason.
Nah, it was. I mean, yeah, she was. It was like dealing with like a vice principal. Like I was like that. Yeah. You
know what's funny about that too is that she reacted to. I made a joke about what was it? I said that I had gone to Florida recently and got stung by a jellyfish, and the worst part about that was that a woman peed on me. And now I have a piss kink, and it's costing me $1,500 a month. And she like reacted and was like, "I'll do it for $500." And so like you would think, "Oh, cool person. She likes comedy." She sounded like a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, no, I didn't know what you're talking about too. She was cool at times, but mostly it was just like she was annoying to deal with. She was like, she just made it like not fun, and I'm like, this is a fun thing. Like, this is a comedy.
Absolutely.
You know? But she probably had a lot of pressure on her spot. I don't know. Like, I don't hold any hate against her or anything like that.
No, but
it was. She was definitely like she was like the least fun person in that whole era of being at the Roost.
I bet.
Yeah.
Because to me.
And then after she left, there was like another group of people, and I was like, all right, I see some promise with this, and then they closed.
And then they shut down for. Are they still closed?
Yeah, I walk by it sometimes, and it's like still like completely like the demoed and shit.
Because the last we had talked, you thought they were renovating.
No, I think that's the plan. I still talk to the owner. The owner is a good dude, Vito. I still talk to him. He hits me up. He wishes me well sometimes. Like, he's a good guy. From what I know, they own the building next door, or they own the establishment next door that was always closed throughout the whole time.
Yeah.
So they're
okay.
like, they were gonna like break down the walls. They were gonna make it like a bigger spot, but it wasn't gonna be the Roost anymore. They were gonna make some new thing.
Got it.
To my knowledge, they're still in that building process of making it that new thing. I'm not holding my breath for that, but I'm still cool with them. Where they're like,
Good.
if that opens up again, like that's another I can.
You would
revisit.
start that up again.
Yeah, but it's not the Roost anymore, so it's not it won't be what it was.
Yeah,
I hopefully it might be something better because it's a great location.
It is a great location.
Yeah, it's a great location. Alphabet City's the shit. Avenue B. I've had like some of the best nights of my life at the Roost.
Place was great.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that place is pretty much what made me realize I could do it. That like, I started just getting, me and Paul, we would just go and just watch. And I started as a fan, and I was just sitting there, and I can't even remember anyone specific, but there was like moments there where I was like, I'm funnier than this guy.
Yeah.
And that gave me the inspiration, and they were always great shows. But that gave me the inspiration to be like, all right, I'll give it a shot, because it was a phenomenal place. It really was. I hope that if they do, A, I hope they reopen, and B, I hope they don't go too far away from that speakeasy feel.
Yeah.
Because that's like a cool vibe in the city.
I think they 100% are.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna like be able to catch it. I mean, like I haven't talked to them about it since like it closed like almost 2 summers ago.
Yeah.
So who knows? But listen, if they open up, they hit me up. I'll revisit the idea of doing it there again.
Start it up again.
Yeah, I would see why not. I had a great time there. I'm still cool with them. They treated me well. I always think like in New York City, like it's important to have like your own little fucking hole in the wall, like a little place to escape to.
Absolutely.
So for like a good year and a half, 2 years, the Roost was that for me.
That place.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like I would like go there on like a Tuesday when nothing was happening there, and the bar would be, and I would just hang out with Ian, the bartender, and Ian would hook me up. Sometimes wouldn't charge me for anything. That's why he probably wasn't the bartender for so long there. But he would like, we smoked bogeys in the spot. Probably another reason why he wasn't the bartender there for so long. But I would never forget that like time period of like going to that little place and being like, or going to that place and feeling like, oh, this is like my bar. And I think that's like such like when you live in New York City, that's such a special like attachment you have to a place.
Yeah.
Because like you always hear when like New York City is like when a story takes place in New York City itself is a character in that story.
Yeah.
Because it's so lively. It has so much like personality.
Absolutely.
I felt that way about the Roost, where I just felt like this is like my piece of like New York City that like
sure
I don't share if like people went there obviously, but you feel that attachment.
It felt
to
like
your bar.
yours.
Yeah.
And in a city that there's so many people, it's funny. I think that the irony of New York City is it's a city of over 10 million people, but it can feel lonely at times. So it's like, to your point, you had your own Cheers. You had your own bar where everybody knows your name, and you could go in, and it felt like home. And that's, and it wasn't in your neighborhood, which is so cool. But that's also why New York City is the greatest city in the world.
Yeah.
I stand by that. I love Philly, but New York City is the city. And it's for reasons like that. You know what? That's actually our time. Surprisingly. Yeah. That felt quick.
How long has it been?
Like an hour.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I had forgot to set the timer, and when we were, I think, 15 minutes in, I set it for 45. So we're like at about an hour, if not a little more. I do want to end with, oh shit, I have to do a fuck, marry, kill with you.
Oh god.
I do this every episode, and I'm just thinking this on the spot. All right. Fuck, marry, kill Chris Chang.
Oh god.
Our former boss. Devin Lake. Rapper, comedian, all-around good guy. And Nancy Pelosi. I know. It's supposed to be tough.
Nah, I got it. I'm going to marry Chang because he has money.
Shout out Chris Chang.
I'm going to fuck Devin because my bitch. And I'm going to kill Nancy Pelosi because,
Fuck her.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I like those answers.
Yeah.
I like those answers. I'd probably stick with that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'd fuck Nancy. I don't know, though. She's got them big old things. But No, that's good answers.
I feel like Nancy Pelosi's like built like Judge Judy.
I can see that. Yeah.
You seen Judge Judy? Judge Judy got a fat. Like she has a fat ass.
Does she?
Yeah.
I have not noticed that.
Do you have a Jamie? Tell him to pull up a picture of.
I am Jamie.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Judge Judy ass.
Judge Judy booty. That's what you gotta type.
That's hilarious. Judge Judy booty. Hey yo.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, seen that.
Guys, Google Judge Judy booty.
Yeah, you had to edit that.
Yeah, yeah, I'll throw it up there on there for you.
Right here, right here.
The Laughs at Lux, that's happening every Thursday and Sunday.
Every Thursday and Sunday. Sorry, what is my plug time?
Yeah.
I do every Thursdays and Sundays. Luxor Lounge on Macdougal Street. It's right across the street from the Comedy Cellar and Grizzly Pear on Macdougal Street. Greatest street, comedy street.
That's a fact.
In the city.
That's a fact.
In the world.
I agree with that.
There's no better fucking street for comedy than Macdougal Street.
That's a fact.
I got a little bar show there. It's the only free show on Macdougal Street. We're the underdogs of Macdougal, but
that's a great hook, by the way. There,
what?
The free show.
Oh yeah, they hate us, but not all of them. Some of them don't give a shit about us, but some of them hate us.
That's fine.
But like, I don't care.
No, fuck them.
Yeah, Macdougal Street, like I said, best street in the street for comedy in the world. So I do that every Thursdays and Sundays, 9:00. It's a free show. Always really awesome comics popping, and we've had some seller comics pop in randomly. We've had some great comics come in. Some new people that you guys don't know, but are probably going to be famous one day.
Yeah.
Outside of that, that's in the West Village every Thursdays and Sundays. Outside of that, I have a show I do in Long Island at JJ's in Amityville. I do that once a month. It's a Friday at 10 p.m.
When's the next one?
I have no idea. It's always it's never like a specific Friday. It's always just like
when they can do it.
It's when I can do it.
When you do. Okay, all right, that's fair.
But they're great. JJ's in Amityville. Shout out them. And then I have a once a month show in Flatbush. This is at Edie Joe's the 30th of every month. So the next one's March 30th. That's in Flatbush, 8:00.
Flatbush, 8:00.
Yeah, so those are like 10 shows a month that I run.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. At not Rene Fuentes.
Not Rene Fuentes.
On Instagram.
Yeah, or follow Big Chuckles.
Or Big Chuckles Production.
Yeah.
You're great about posting. You're great about posting, everything you got going on. You're a busy guy. I'm biased because I love the guy, but he's hilarious too. So if you ever want to go see his stuff, you got some really good stuff.
You're really selling me.
You figured it out.
I appreciate it.
Hey,
I appreciate that. But yeah, no man, I love comedy. If you don't like me, I got like mad comics on the bill that you're gonna love.
Well, that's what you do. And I won't extend this too much, but what you do a really good job about too is that you have people who kind of offer everything. It's not gonna. You're never gonna go to a show of yours and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all the same kind of comic.
Oh, never that. That's the worst. You gotta mix it up. There's so much flavor out in New York City comedy.
Absolutely.
You gotta if someone's not for you, one person's gonna be for you.
Somebody will. Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's a fact. Oh shit. All right, dude. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
It was a pleasure. We'll do it again soon. Guys, Rene Fuentes, at not Rene Fuentes on Instagram. Check him out. And we will see you next time. We'll see what happens. Beautiful, brother.
Hell yeah.
That was good. That was really good, bro. I appreciate you.
Fuck yeah, man.